Hello, guys. I believe my audio is pretty good. All right. Hello, Lacey, Fearless Vic, Crystal Pistol. How you guys doing? Mr. C and Mr. Mr. C and Pamela. Bear with me. This weekend, I will be reaching out to you. Uh, those are my heavy hitter moderators. Really, um, I need to talk to them. Hey, OG Face Diaper. What's going on? I see Jasmine and there's Jeffrey Bailey, the gentle giant. You guys know I followed the Gobekli Tepe material for a while, and I've even done 3 videos and some follow-ups, ancillary research here and there. Nothing I've done in the past is comparable to what I have now found. So I'm pretty sure I have close to 300 or 400 pictures you're about to see, and it's absolutely necessary. You see, I fell into a rabbit hole, and it was just 3 days ago or 4 days ago. Yeah, it was about 4 days ago. I fell into a rabbit hole. And it's because I was going through Barry Fell's books. And Barry Fell, he's the president of the Epigraphic Society, or he used to be. And somebody who followed it, these books are unattainable now. You have to get them from private collectors. But I have them all going back to the 70s until Barry Fell was done. But these books have all the data that you need. I could create a whole nother YouTube channel just off these books. They're amazing, huge. I got stacks of them that were donated to the Archaics Library, and I was flipping through this volume here, right here, Epigraphic Society, Occasional Papers, 1992. When I saw a symbol, I know I've seen that symbol before. I mean, pattern recognition is one of my characteristics. I saw that symbol. I remembered where I saw it, so I looked up some other books, found it, looked up some other books, found it again, and down the rabbit hole I went. I am confidently asserting that by the end of this video, you will have an accurate translation to Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe. I'm also going to tell you that no one in the world has done this yet. There's been theories. They try to identify the symbols, try to tell you this, tell you that. You can go with Graham Hancock's nonsense and try to say that scorpion means Scorpio and try to apply archaeoastronomy principles, and none of that's true. None of it's true. I'm going to show you. By the end of this video, you will see the receipts. It is very, very humbling what is on this pillar. It's an amazing message. It's a message to all humanity. It's an incredible message. It's a message that I have said many, many times in Archaics, and it's a message that has really triggered people. It's really triggered people because they can't understand how the Phoenix is a benefactor. They just can't get it. You're going to see it because they recorded it on Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe. Now, yeah, without further ado, let's just get in it. I was in Cypher earlier this week for like 4 hours and 15 minutes, then underground for 3 hours. We're going back in Cypher today, but something changed my schedule. So my Cypher knots, we're going to do Cypher tomorrow since my Friday schedule is free. I wasn't aware that my Canada meetup video was Saturday. For some reason, I was thinking it was Sunday. So being that I can't go live on Friday, I went ahead and decided to go live with this today. Cypher will be tomorrow on Friday, and Saturday we'll be with the Canadians. We'll be doing a Canuck meetup. So this is where we're at. It's so astonishing, guys. The whole Gobekli Tepe. It's so astonishing to see how everybody's going in the wrong direction. Let's get this started. Let's just take off. We're going to be moving through it. We're going to be moving through it, guys. So bear with me. So real quick, Some of the material for this video is material that you already familiar with in archaics from my first Gobekli Tepe video. A 70-year-old lie became a 12,000-year-old truth. Now, there's no sense in me rehashing that because you're going to see it in this video. Although about 60 to 70% of this video is all new data you've never seen, even archaics veterans, we're going to go through what we already know first, so everything can be chronologically put into its proper perspectives. My second video was Gobekli Tepe, Fingers of the Bird Cult. So my first Gobekli Tepe video was 3.5 years ago. It was January of 2023. I had been talking about it, but never did an official video until January of 2023. Here is Fingers of the Bird Cult. Now, the third one I did was Kivas of the Pre-Flood World. This is the first video. You have to understand, in 2021, somebody had already brought to the world's attention before me that there was an association between Easter Island and Gobekli Tepe, and it's these birds and it's these statues with these long fingers. Somebody, that wasn't me, somebody else. I can't remember the person's name, but other people picked up on it and ran with it, and basically educated their communities as well about this. But when it comes to associating Gobekli Tepe to the Kivas of the ancient world, I don't know of anybody who's ever done that. But we have new data on that that's going to blow your mind. So that's just one new data point in this video. But those are the three videos. This is the three Gobekli Tepe videos I've done in archaics. This will be the fourth. And this one wraps it all up, adds a tremendous amount more information, and gives you an accurate interpretation of Pillar 43, the most enigmatic pillar. It's the pillar with the handbags. It's the pillar with the vulture with its wing holding the sun. It's the pillar with the scorpion and either the feline or the canine off to the side. Yeah, and it's the pillar that has the little human missing his head underneath the giant vulture. Every bit of that has definitive meaning. So that's just a little rehash. But so you guys can see what we're talking about. For those who don't really know, we're going to start off in baby steps. So we're all on the same page. We're talking about this site here called Gobekli Tepe in Turkey. We're talking about this site right here. A lot of people think they're experts on this place. And you guys know for years I've been telling you they're going to continue to find stuff that lowers the date, but they're not going to. They're stuck in a paradigm. This is my main critique with those in academia. I call them acadummies, not because they're stupid. Most of them are more intelligent than I. It's because their education has rigidly compartmentalized their ability to assess the data. Yeah, scholars and academics are the worst. They can't see something straight in front of them because they have been educated to process everything in a series of filters. It is so dumb. But that's what uniformitarianism does. Yeah, this is the site we're talking about. We are told that it's 8,500 BC. I'm telling you, they're 4,500 years off. This is the place. They're claiming it's just post-Ice Age. I'm telling you, they're not even close. This place was found. They claim this place, like all the other places in the ancient world, even places that were destroyed 1,000 years ago, where are they found? They're all found underground. This place was found underground with several other Tepe and Huyuk sites. Gobekli Tepe found underground. We are told that the place was deliberately buried because of its ceremonial import. Poppycock. This is Gobekli Tepe. There's the bull motif. This is Gobekli Tepe. I'm just starting off in baby steps so we all know what we're talking about here. You're going to see artifacts. You're going to see things that were found here that most people never talk about. They always talk about the pillars. They don't talk about the statues. They don't talk about the relics that were found at this site that end up in museums. So most people don't even know, man. They're still attached to this site. This is it. Gobekli Tepe. It's rather crude. Even the stonework and all that's rather crude, but it's no different. It's no different than stonework that we find from 1,000 years ago. I'm not saying it's 1,000 years old. I'm just saying the stonework itself is no different than some Mesoamerican pueblo. It's no different than what we find in South America after the Technolithic, post-Technolithic, and Heliolithic architecture. We find more modern Native Americans residing in ruins for which they have no memory. And this is what they do. They add these small cobbles, which aren't originally a part of the complex. So this is Gobekli Tepe. I just ran through it. That file's done. We got many files to go. This is the place we're talking about. So the key feature of Gobekli Tepe are the pillars. So now let's go through a pile. Let's go through a file of the pillars so we're all on board with what's being discussed here. I got to go through this like baby steps, guys, because when you make a claim like I did, that I have accurately interpreted pillar 43. This is pillar 43. Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe, you have to show the receipts. Everybody has to agree, or at least the majorum. I don't need it. I got too many haters and critics. They're never going to agree with anything I do. But the majority of you, by the end of this video, I'm going to ask for your vote. Did I make my case? This is the pillar in question. The pillars themselves, we'll be discussing these symbols. The pillars themselves are the focus of Gobekli Tepe. This is an anthropomorphic pillar right here. The pillars are the focus of most. This is Gobekli Tepe now. Here's the famous pillar. Graham Hancock telling you that this is all zodiac and it dates to 11,600 BC. Yeah, man, I'm telling you guys, there's a reason why that man will not get caught in a room with me at all. And it has everything to do with he's a fraud. Everything about Graham Hancock's research is a fraud. You guys know I have totally dismantled his fingerprints of the gods. I have dismantled his BS Age of Leo Sphinx association, his archaeoastronomy claims and bullshit. I have dismantled all that, not because I'm more intelligent than Graham Hancock, but because I have the historical facts and I just show them to you. It's all bullshit. Going by Graham Hancock's reasoning, you know what I mean? Taco Bell was founded 11,600 BC because we have Taco Bell in Willis that faces due east. Yeah, it faces due east right where the sun comes up at the vernal equinox. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, the main claim that this is Scorpio to Graham Hancock, by the end of this video, you're going to realize, holy shit, how did I ever believe that bullshit? Because that has a massively epic meaning and it has nothing to do with the zodiac. These are the pillars of Gobekli Tepe. Yeah, man, he's gone. I'm mentioning his name because he's made millions off his books. His books are trash. The general public eats that shit up because they don't fact check him. They don't understand, man, that he's freestyling and making this bullshit up. Yeah, none of it has anything to do with any of that. He's such a victim. Academia fears him. Academia runs from Graham Hancock. No, they don't. They think you're a charlatan. And the difference between academia and I is they think you're a charlatan. I know he is. Here it is, famous pillar. This is the famous pillar that you will get the interpretation of at the end of this video. You may be able to interpret it yourself before I even get to the end of the video, because the end of the video is an all new archaic chart that shows this pillar, and it shows a box identifying everything on this pillar and what it is and what it all means together. It's gonna blow your mind. Now, see. Yeah. Yeah, Leon R2D2, man. Yeah, that's the only warning you're gonna get from me, bro. Less hate, more data, please. Yeah. Yeah, you're not gonna censure me in my house. I don't give a damn what your opinion is. Yeah. I can talk about Graham Hancock all I want. Yeah. My publishing contracts came by merit. I had to struggle. And my bibliographies are factual. His are full of bullshit, as I've shown. Yeah. He's so censured by academia. Yeah, he's so censured and he's such a victim. We've all heard that bullshit story before. He's such a victim that the most prestigious publishing houses in the world pushed his bullshit. Such a victim. Yeah, don't come into my chat gaslight me about Hancock and all those who've promoted him. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I'll block you just on principle. Trying to hear that bullshit. These are the pillars of Gobekli Tepe. Look at that. Look at that. This wasn't added to the pillar. This was carved. This was a bas relief carving in 3D as they carved down the pillar. It's amazing. We've seen that one. We've seen that one. Look at that. Look at that. Anthropomorphic. That's a belt. That's a loincloth. Of course, those are fingers. That's a cat. That's a cat like a leopard. That's a good picture right there. That's what we're interpreting in this video. Some good pictures of it. I must have that picture several times. Look at that pillar. That's so badass. What is that underneath it? Oh, a turtle. These are the pillars. There's Hancock Scorpio. So I'm just went through all this in detail to show you. This is my whole pillar file. Just wanted to show you in detail what we're dealing with here. This is what we're talking about. Right. We're moving through. That's 3 files down. So let's look at what artifacts were found at Gobekli Tepe. This is the little known data. This is what most people don't know. The pillars are the focus. Let's look at actual figurines and relics that were found at Gobekli Tepe because they have everything to do with where we're going with this. Here's a Venus statue, one of the original Venus statues. These were excavated at Gobekli Tepe. What style of artwork does that look like? Where have we seen this guy before? Where have we seen that statue before? This was found at Gobekli Tepe, but there's an identical statue at Tiahuanaco in Bolivia in the Andes Mountains, South America. This is almost identical to other Tiahuanaco statues in South America in the Bolivian Altiplano and Easter Island. This Do you see the facial feature here? There's another place in the world that looks identical to Gobekli Tepe that I'm going to show you. It's on Malta. And the figurines there look just like this guy. Just like this guy. Really amazing because none of these are old like Gobekli Tepe. None of them. Another one. You'll have to excuse his vulgarity. He's a little excited, but this facial features also found on Malta at a certain complex that looks just like Gobekli Tepe. Those facial features, I'll show you. I'm going to show you that complex. Here it is again. Like I said, I listen, I'm extending my apologies because my little buddy here is a little excited. But these are his facial features right here. Identical to ones found at Malta at a site that looks just like Gobekli Tepe. This right here is incredible. The reason it's incredible, this is a boar. But what makes it incredible is it's not the only boar in the world that looks exactly like that. There's another one, and it's not even old. It's in China. I'll be showing that to you. This is Gobekli Tepe. This is a statue from Gobekli Tepe. What's going on? Because this guy here, he's been seen somewhere else at a place called Malta. I'm going to take you there to a complex that looks just like Gobekli Tepe. And it's not even old. Well, I mean, it's thousands of years old, but it's not 10,000 years old. It's more like 4 or 5,000 years old. I told you guys from the beginning, Gobekli Tepe has been it's an anachronism. I've been telling you guys for years. It's 4 to 5,000 years off on its chronology. It's off. It does not belong that far back. Just like I collapsed the entire Atlantis narrative. It is 13th century BC. It has nothing to do with the Ice Age at all. Gobekli Tepe is not, it's pre-flood, it's antediluvian, but it's not post-Ice Age. This guy here found at Gobekli Tepe. This guy here. All of these little guys, all found at Gobekli Tepe. Look at that. That's a horse. You can see the horse nostrils right here. It might not be a horse. It sure looked like a horse. But now that I'm looking at it, he's got square teeth up front, but he's got canines. So it may not be a horse. It could be a dog. Those could be dog nostrils. Happy fella, yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is Gobekli Tepe. Yeah. This is the goddess, the Venus goddess, very popular in the pre-flood world. Also known as Spider Grandmother. She sits between two leopards. There's that boar again. How did that boar get at Gobekli Tepe? Did they borrow one from the Chinese? How did this happen? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the Chinese boar. But this is another artifact from Gobekli Tepe. Here it is. Here's two guys dancing around the turtle. This is Gobekli Tepe. There's that guy again. What is he doing in Turkey? Doesn't he know he's supposed to be in Malta? What's he doing there? Look at this guy. This is Gobekli Tepe. Also, look how the arms come down and the fingers fold front. The fingers fold frontward. Where have you seen that before? And those places aren't even old. Not like 10,000 years old. They're just a few thousand years old. So those are the artifacts. So we're knocking out the files pretty fast. That's 4 files we've knocked out. But as we go forward on these 20 files in one chart, the files get more and more complex and comprehensive. A lot more to see. Oh, thank you, Third Space, man. You're awesome, dude. We haven't got to the big files yet. We're still on the small ones. So we do have something really triggering about Gobekli Tepe too that we need to show, because it's not just the pillars of the architecture, it's not just the statuary and the associations those figurines and those images have with cultures that are 4 and 5,000 years after Gobekli Tepe and identical, but we have another problem. We have another problem, and they don't really want to deal with it. The problem is that script has now been found at Gobekli Tepe. That's a real anachronistic problem. So we're told all this stuff at Gobekli Tepe is 11,000 years old. This is believed to be by experts a seal. This would be the horned serpent. This is supposed to be a man. And this is a bird. This is what they say. Here's the problem. Cylinder seals and proto-writing date to 3500 to 3100 BC by the experts, invented at the Sumerian city of Uruk in Mesopotamia and Susa in Persia, Iran. These stone cylinders were rolled onto wet clay to create continuous symbolic impressions. Inscribed seals are 2600 BC and onward. That's what this would be. The seals began integrating formal, readable text alongside animal or religious symbols. So we had a problem. Then you have Mediterranean signet rings, 2000 to 1400 BC, Minoan and Mycenaean cultures. So by any species of analysis, we're still looking at about something far after 4000 BC. This is what we're looking at, something far after 4000 BC for this to have been done. But it's found at Gobekli Tepe, which is 11,000 years ago. We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Now, are they going to rewrite the research of Gobekli Tepe? Are they going to go back and amend everything? Because the more and more they find, the younger and younger the site is supposed to get, but they're not doing it. They're not playing by the rules. They're not playing by the rules. Yeah, once they adopted pre-pottery Neolithic of Kathleen Kenyon, it effed up everything. It's total foobar now on how they date all these ancient sites. It's just dumb. That it was buried underground is not indicative of age at all. We have World War I sites that are now buried underground. It's stupid. Turkey is earthquake prone. It's also flood prone. And in 4,000 years of history, in archaics, we have already documented massive cataclysms, floods, earthquakes, liquefaction events, mud floods that have all happened in that area of the world in the past 4,000 years. Any one of those events could have buried that area. Liquefaction, when during an earthquake and the surface is shaking, that's how all that dirt would have got buried up, would have got in there and buried it. Gobekli Tepe was not deliberately buried. That is just stupid. The manpower that it would have taken more manpower to deliberately bury it than to build it. It's dumb. But they're gonna come up with every explanation in the world to maintain their fictitious dating. It's not that old. because they don't want to redate the other Tepe sites. They don't want to undo Karen Tepe. And Karen Tepe has a mystery too. I'm going to show you. Yeah, only 200 miles away from Gobekli Tepe is another artifact that's going to blow your mind. It's like, why? It's not even old. But this is a problem. Right, finding writing there uniformly all over the world when writing is found, that is how you date that area. But when it comes to Gobekli Tepe, they're not playing by the rules. Writing has been found. Oh, we need to amend our date. They're not going to amend the dating at all. You'll see why I'm aggravated about all this as this video progresses. Things are going to become very obvious. All right, that was a super short file. Let's go to file number. Well, I had a 0 file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm on file number 5. Let's look at something really interesting. Let's leave Gobekli Tepe and let's just travel the world and look at a few places that remind us of Gobekli Tepe. Because we can't leave anybody out here. We got to assess all the data. The Kivas of the ancient Americas are a mystery, and a lot of them look very, very close to Gobekli Tepe, minus all the ruin shit, and minus later constructions that were added to the pillar complexes. But there's definitely some common themes and common denominators between the Kivas of the old world and Gobekli Tepe. Because remember, it was only open to the sky if they didn't pull the roofs off. The roofs were portable. Gobekli Tepe is built the same way. That's why the pillars are there. So they can have these thatch roofs put on the top, and then they can pull them away, and you can see the stars and all that. During the day, heat of the sun, they can put the pillars back. I mean, they can put the roofs back. The Kivas in the Americas are built the exact same way, but they're not even old. They're not even 12 centuries old in the Americas. Here's Kiva architecture. That's the same brickwork of Gobekli Tepe. These are the Kivas in the Americas. Oh, I told you this was a rabbit hole. I told you this was a rabbit hole. Look at these Kivas. What is going on? Man, you can imagine how when these places were functional ceremonial centers full of people, and they had timber and they had roofs of thatch. Oh, we're not done. This is going to get juicy. Look at this place. This is a Kiva in North America. What is going on? If you don't think they're similar to Gobekli Tepe, you better pay attention. You better pay attention. But you don't have to really pay attention because I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Do you know what you're looking at? Do you know what you're looking at here? In the Americas, there is a tradition attached to the Kivas. These little facilities all have a little alcove right here. It is symbolically put there to always keep a way out for their ancestors because it was known that a cataclysm broke up the world and they had survived underground. And those who were now living and had built the Kivas were the ones that escaped the underworld. But they left a sipapu, a little chamber right here, which was symbolic. It was a window into the underworld for all of those who were trapped, for those who did not get out of the underworld. Their souls had a way to escape. This is what was put in. Look closely. These are the Kivas. Look at this. This is ancient America. It's only 12 centuries old. This is a Kiva. That is the escape. It's called a sipapu. That is how the ancestors could get out of the underworld. If they didn't make it out alive, this is how their spirits could make it out. And they would do ceremonies in the Kivas in memory of those who did not make it out. Here is, look, here it is again. This is Native American traditions. That is a gate to the underworld. It is a ceremonial alcove there. It's in all the Kivas. This is all in the Americas. Every one of these. These are all every one of them I'm showing you is in the Americas. This is look at the pillars. There's pillars here. Here's the sipapu right here. That's the sipapu. They're going to make sure that their kinfolk who couldn't make it out, their spirits won't be trapped in the underworld. They can get out. I just showed you North American Kivas and a significant architectural feature. So you're going to find it really unusual that right here, North America, 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 Gobekli Tepe. This is Gobekli Tepe right there in a Kiva-styled alcove in Turkey. Are you going to tell me that this is coincidence? Are you going to tell me it's coincidence? Because in Turkey, we have a legend from Phrygia of a king named Anachos who knew the world was going to be destroyed and he wanted to save his people. So he built underground cities and his people went underground to survive a cataclysm. Oops. Didn't know that was on. That is the sipapu of Gobekli Tepe. These are look at the two animals. What do the two animals do next to portals? They're guardians. That's what they do. They're guardians. Yeah, this image, anybody can look in this video and screenshot this. You can screenshot this image, edit it down to the image itself, run it through Google Images, and the first thing that's going to pop up is it's going to say Gobekli Tepe. You can't make this up. Can't make this up. Why do the Kivas of the old world look so much like Gobekli Tepe? Same architectural features. What's underneath Gobekli Tepe? Can anybody answer that? What's underneath the Huyuk sites and the Tepe sites in Turkey? Well, I'm going to tell you, Derinkuyu and 58 underground cities that we've already talked about in Archaics. Shown you hundreds of pictures of all these places. Like 200,000 people altogether could have been hiding in the underworld, and they could have been down there for a long time. So, we have an interesting connection here with the Kivas of the ancient Americas, which aren't even old. And the next file. So we were now going to go to Malta because we can't ignore this. We can't ignore this. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tarxien. It's Tarxien. It's called the Tarxien Temple Complex. This is what we have. Enclosures and pillars. Island of Malta in the Mediterranean. Just use your imagination how it would have looked when it was occupied. So these are effigies. Don't they look very similar to Gobekli Tepe? The same style of artwork? It's right here. And when I say style of artwork, these aren't engravings. This is bas relief. These are protuberances, meaning they planed the side of architecture down, leaving behind the images of animals. Same thing they did at Gobekli Tepe. The exact same stone science was employed. These aren't flat surfaces that you chisel out hieroglyphics. That's easier. That's way easier than what you see here. This is very difficult to do. What they did at Gobekli Tepe and what they did on Malta. And Malta's ruins are 4,000 to 5,000 years younger than what they're telling us Gobekli Tepe is. Exact same artwork, exact same style. Don't take my word for it. Use the evidence of your senses. Quit listening to academia. Quit listening to all the experts. Look at what you're looking at. This is the same artistic style. It could have been the same stone crafters that came over here and did this. It was the same method. You're not looking at hieroglyphs etched into the wall or images etched into the wall. You're not. You're looking at I best I can say is bas relief. That's right. Pillar of Ayers, you're absolutely correct. You do not keep the same style for 5,000 years. It doesn't, it's not, it just doesn't happen. This is too uniform. Uh-oh, we got a big girl in the house. Where have we seen another big girl at? Gobekli Tepe. In the pre-flood world, they like those big girls. This is Spider Grandmother. This is the Venus statue. Here she is again. There she is again. Big Mama. Yeah, man. Look at this. All on Malta. Looks so similar. Uh-oh, there's those guys. Hey, what are you doing over here? You're supposed to be at Gobekli Tepe. Hey, the dude in the middle is from Gobekli Tepe. What in the hell is going on? How did he get in the middle of the Mediterranean on the island of Malta at a complex that looks identical almost to Gobekli Tepe? How did that happen? With artwork that looks like Gobekli Tepe, but it's 5,000 years younger. How'd that happen? Even the same style of figurine, same facial features. Uh-oh. Did we find a Sipapu? Did we find a Sipapu on Malta in the Tarxien Gobekli Tepe temple complex? Yes, we did. You know, we also found the ceremonial well and cover because in ancient times there was a ritual, and many temple complexes did this, but there was a ritual where they would have a fake well and they'd have water in there. And in the ritual, they would place the stone lid or a boulder over the top of the well. Why would they do that? Because they had an ancient legend that when in the day that the sky fell, a lot of the water that flooded the world billowed up from the underworld. It wasn't just falling from the sky, it also came from underground. Water came up everywhere. And they had a ritual of the covering of the well. The covering of the well was symbolic that we're not going to allow the world to be flooded again. So so both of them are here. This one photo is amazing in its implications because two different but yet connected ancient concepts are bridged in this photograph. One of them is the covering of the well to keep the waters down. The other one is the Sipapu gate to the underworld so that those who are still underground can find a way out. There it is. Mm. Well, Lacey, for you, it's probably pretty deep. I mean, you're only like 5'1", 5'2", right? Yeah, man. I'm in rare form today, guy. I'm so excited to show you the interpretation of this. It's gonna blow your mind, man. I'm in rare form. All right, it's another file done. We're on file number 7, 7 of 20, plus a chart. So go look at this. Go see what China has to show us because China seems to have borrowed things from Gobekli Tepe. Where have we seen that before? Because this one here was found in China, not at Gobekli Tepe. Here's the other side. Yeah, all of this was at a site in China. All this was found in China. I, almost identical to what's found in Gobekli Tepe. Look at that style of artwork. Where have you seen that? You saw that at Gobekli Tepe, but it's also in China. Okay, you know what you saw this mouth type here at Gobekli Tepe. Yeah, here it is. This is like Gobekli Tepe art, but it's all found in China. Here's the Gobekli Tepe version on the side. The far right is Gobekli Tepe. You see that? That's a comparative analysis. Yeah, man. Here's the Chinese boar on top. Here's the Gobekli Tepe boar. So, this was found at Linjiatang site in China, in the Neolithic archaeological site located in Haining, Zhejiang province, eastern China. It is associated with, I guess that's Langzhou culture, which flourished around what? What? 3,300 to 2,300 BC. That's a 1,000-year window. So they're not really sure. But what they are sure is that it's 5,000 years younger than Gobekli Tepe. These are the Chinese scholars. Process that for a minute. 5,000 years younger. Same artwork, even some of the same exact animals in the same positions. 5,000 years younger than Gobekli Tepe. Well, how far? I don't know. That's a good question, Allie. Kit Kat. How far is Gobekli Tepe from China? How far is modern day Turkey from China? Same distance. Moving through these files. Oh, we're getting to some good stuff. So that we're all on the same page, we're going to go on a little trip to Easter Island because there's like 8 files in this one file that we got to go through. So we're all on the same page. Remember, this is a video about Gobekli Tepe. So what are we doing way over here in the South Pacific? What are we doing here? These are, I don't know how to pronounce it. Moai. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Moai. Moya. I don't know. These are the statues of Easter Island. They were the most of them were buried. Only the heads were showing. Look at these things. I'm just going through them fast, guys, because we got a lot of ground to cover. Look at that. Still in situ. The largest statue on Easter Island was found in the quarry, just like the largest block at Baalbek was still in the quarry, just like the largest obelisk ever made is still in the quarry in Egypt. I told you guys this in the past. What happened? Worldwide in 1687 BC, in the month of May, a worldwide series of earthquakes stopped all Heliolithic building projects. It's the subject of a whole 5 video series of mine in Archaics. Here it is. Stopped. Look at the fingers on that guy. Look how they're folded over. Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that face before? That T face. Where did we see that? Oh, I remember. It was one of the small artifacts at Gobekli Tepe. Oh, where did we see those fingers before? Oh, they were folded in that fashion on an anthropomorphic pillar at Gobekli Tepe. How interesting. Old photographs, Thor Heyerdahl. I got all the Thor Heyerdahl's books. Look, this is crazy. This is crazy. Here they are. Easter Island. Look at that statue. Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that exact statue before? Gobekli Tepe. Oh boy, looks square business. He's like serious. Look at the size of these. Massive. Even the smallest statues were huge, guys. It's a book in my library where I took a lot of these pictures out of. Thor Heyerdahl. Look, they took this. This is carved in whatever they chiseled around. They chiseled all the way around this thing. That's a huge statue still lying in situ. It's still connected to the volcano. They're in the middle. Look, they're in the middle of their work. That's what Thor Heyerdahl's showing. Look, they were chiseling all around. They had not yet disconnected. They've already carved the face. They haven't disconnected the back yet. And they leave a lot of raw material on the back, and you're going to realize why they left the raw material on the back. I'm going to show you why. Where have we seen this guy? Oh, Gobekli Tepe. Yeah, man. Those hats were red. Some of these statues are off the coast. Way back here. That's a big old boy still. Huge. Their work got interrupted and they never came back. I don't have to tell you what you're looking at. Identical to Gobekli Tepe pillar. Look at the size of that. Look at all these people right here on the hill. And the hill's close to the camera. Look at that. They never finished, like I said, month of May, 1687 BC, the Ogygian apocalypse caused by the Phoenix interrupted all their work. It was the fall of the Heliolithic Maritime Empire. So, Easter Island, now you understand. Now you know what we're talking about, Easter Island. So let's look at the next Easter Island file. Because this is where some of the things at Gobekli Tepe start jumping out at us. We're 1 hour in. We're 1 hour in, guys. So this is where we start really starting putting things together. They left all the raw material on the back of the statues because they're the same procedure they used at Gobekli Tepe, the same procedure, creating this 3D bas relief effect with the animals and their artwork, was also used on Malta 5,000 years after Gobekli Tepe. Exact same art. The same style, the same stonework style is also used on Easter Island for the same effect. But on Easter Island, we also have these birds. This bird cult. What is going on? It's like shamans wearing bird masks. What is this? What is this? Because the same thing is seen on Pillar 43, Gobekli Tepe. And it's a bird touching it. What is it about the bird motif touching this object that's so important that symbol has been found all over the world? Oh, I got some pictures to show you guys. I got new data, new stuff the archaics veterans have never seen. This is a mind fuck. The bird and the disc. What does it mean? There's a bird. There's people in the form of pillars. Here's your bird, men. This is a full moon, according to the interpreter of whatever this is. This is supposed to be a rainbow, and this is rain. This is supposed to be hail. I don't think I buy that. I'm not buying that interpretation, but I appreciate the sentiment. The rainbow could be correct because it's an ancient concept that the rainbow only came after the sky fell. You see a little bit better? The bird on the left, hands are directly on the disc. Here's rainbow with a disc above it again. The disc is above the rainbow again. This is a different statue. Here's another different statue. Can't really tell what I'm looking at. There's the bird up here. There's a bird up here at the top. bird symbols. It's a little bit different. It's badly deteriorated. Ha! They even put some butt cheeks in there. Real interesting. Look at these birds. Whoops. The birds and the bird men. There's the pillar at Gobekli Tepe. But don't let that be a data point. I'm only showing you there's a similarity here. We're far from proving our point. We are far from proving our point. There's a bird on the left, a bird on the right, disc in the middle. Bird on the left, bird on the right, disc in the middle. Back of the head. We've already seen that one. Here's a different one here. Look at this. The disc is still over the rainbow. Ancient McDonald's sign. Not sure what they're trying to convey here. It might be unfinished. It could be unfinished work. Here's another different one. Highly stylized. Look at that. You got your rainbow, you got your disc, and you got two birds right here, but they're very stylized compared to the other one. They're both looking up. One bird on the right, one bird on the left, disc in the middle. All right, now we're moving on to another file. All around Easter Island, we have these pictures. You have to understand, Easter Island is literally dated 7,000 years after Gobekli Tepe, according to the experts. According to archaeology as it stands today, Easter Island statues are 7,000 to 8,000 years younger than Gobekli Tepe. If that's what you want to believe. But that's how they dated them. This is Easter Island. What do you see here? I want somebody in the chat to say it, so I don't have to say it. What do you see on this rock from Easter Island? Come on, guys. Somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to see it and say it. OG Face Diaper, I'm not looking for Toucan Sam. Oh my God. Nobody sees it? Really? Thank you, Seth Black. It doesn't have to be Phoenix, because Phoenix is represented as many different birds throughout the ancient past. But you got the gist. The bird or birdman is holding a disc or a sphere almost in the same way that the bird on Gobekli Tepe has got his wing holding the sphere. I'm going to show you. It has very profound meaning in the ancient world, as I'm going to show you. Birdman. Here's the bird cult. All over the boulders of Easter Island. Can't miss it. Look, you can't miss it. Look at that style of artwork. That style of artwork looks just like Gobekli Tepe. It's bas relief. This is Thor Heyerdahl and his crew out here. They probably filled him in with chalk so they could see him better. What is going on here? There's a Birdman. There appears to be a ball. Oh, that's the sphere up there. Here it is, bigger sphere right there. This is Easter Island, guys, in the South Pacific. Looks almost like the little fellas on Gobekli Tepe. So we're going to the next one, next file. These are just data points. I'm just showing you that even on Easter Island, we have the same basic symbols. Here's Easter Island. Just like Gobekli Tepe, we got these arms are folded down, the fingers come forward. It's so weird. It's not natural position. It's not a natural position. You have to hold your hands and fingers that way, like that. Easter Island. Easter Island. Easter Island. Easter Island. They the arms go down the sides at an angle. The hands fold forward and the fingers fold forward. It's an unnatural position, but it's the exact same thing we saw on the anthropomorphic pillar at Gobekli Tepe. Moving right through these files. Yes, we are. So, what is another common denominator with Gobekli Tepe found at Easter Island? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's writing, and this is where the hypocrisy comes in. So, writing is found at Gobekli Tepe, but we're going to keep our 11,000-year-old date. But the same logic isn't applied everywhere else in the world because writing was found at Easter Island, so they give it a real recent date. Because way out there in the middle of the South Pacific, for writing to have developed on its own, it would have been late. You know what they say? They say this is not even 1,000 years old. It's called Rongo Rongo. Archaeologists, because this is complex writing, archaeologists literally date the ruins on Easter Island to not even 1,000 years ago. The hypocrisy is stupendous. This is Rongo Rongo. Rongo Rongo text. Many of the symbols have been found and linked. They're very close to symbols on the Phaistos disk in the Minoan ruins in Crete in the Mediterranean, not far from Malta. Many of the symbols are also in the Boustrophon text of the ancient Hittites. Some of the symbols have been identified as being correlates with seals of Mohenjo-Daro. And yet these are only 1,000 years old. So dumb. It's just so dumb. But writing has been found. Look at this. Look, guys. Indus Valley, Easter Island, same symbol. All the way down, same symbols. What is going on? Easter Island and Indus Valley. So one is 1,000 years old because it's in the South Pacific all by itself, and one is 4,500 years old. But you know what the real irony here is? Rongo Rongo writing identifies the ruins of Easter Island as dating to about 4,000 years ago. The correlates, Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, 4,500 years ago. The irony is that Gobekli Tepe is still dated 5,000 years older than this, and writing has now been found at Gobekli Tepe. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I know that I know the excavators. There's a couple of the people that are at the site at Gobekli Tepe. They listen to me. They follow me on X. I know they hate my guts. Like, you know what, man? This dude, shut up. I already know. Here it is, Easter Island and Indus Valley. It's the exact same symbols. They and archaeologists are still gaslighting the shit out of people about everything about Easter Island. Those Moya, those statues are ancient. They're 4,000 years old. Or yeah, the project began 4,000 years ago. They were destroyed 36 centuries ago. Palm tree. Imagine that. Phoenix palm. That's a phoenix palm. Imagine that. Palm tree. These are some of the meanings of the Rongo Rongo text. Yeah, writing is found. So, oh yeah, you know, guys, it can only be a thousand years to 15 centuries ago at the most. This writing, that they had complex writing proves that it's pretty recent, even though all the symbols are from ancient Pakistan. Yeah, crazy. Mohenjo-daro. Make it make sense. You found writing at Gobekli Tepe. That should stop everything. There should be raging debates in academia now redating. All it would take is one expert to come forward and just challenge everything. Jason can't do it because he's not respected in academia. They'll never listen to me at all. But all it takes is one expert to come into the field and assess all the data as it's supposed to be assessed and quit applying all these stupid Kathleen Kenyon principles and shit and uniformitarian bullshit and just get accurate dating on it. You'll find out. All the Tepe sites, Gobekli Tepe, they're all antediluvian and they date from about 3,400 BC to about 2,800 BC. They fit perfectly in the human historical record, as we have shown all throughout Archaics. There's no mystery here. No mystery here. They have been misdated because they were buried in a cataclysm. Simple as that. So dumb. This is what uniformitarian does. This is what uniformitarianism does, guys. It muddies the water. There's Easter Island. I just wanted people to see where Easter Island was because it's way down here. It's way down here in the South Pacific. There's Tiwanaku. Tiwanaku has the same styles that's found at Gobekli Tepe and Easter Island. They're real close. There's Easter Island right there. Well, still thousands of miles apart, but still, they're there. On Easter Island, it's always been noted that all the statues face the same direction. They face inward. Yeah, they don't look out at the sea. They face inward. Anyway, that's all. That's that file. That's the Easter Island file. We're still covering a lot of the things that we already know, that we've covered on Archaics before we get to these truth bombs that are going to be new to my Archaics veterans, all new data. We're still covering some of this older stuff so we can be on the same page. So here's Tiwanaku. We've seen the same style at Gobekli Tepe. This is Tiwanaku art. This is an actual artifact found at Tiwanaku. Oh, go back. Look at the unnatural. The arms don't hang down to the sides. Look how the fingers fold over the front. And the block face. You saw that at Gobekli Tepe too. Okay, most people don't know this, but there is Heliolithic architecture at Easter Island. Everybody's focused on the statues, so the small artifacts I've shown, they get left out in a lot of people's research. So do the architectural features, because this stone wall right here is at Easter Island. It is identical to the exact same architectural artwork architectural walls and features found where? Peru, Bolivia, Pumapunka, Tiahuanaco, Cuzco, Machu Picchu, Ollantaytambo, however you say it. So many different sites in South America have this exact same style. This is on Easter Island. So you can't say it's only 1,000 years old. So dumb. This is an Easter Island relic. This is a bearded guy. This guy's got a beard. He's an old man. He's got a beard. This is Tiahuanaco. Where have you seen that nose? That face right there. Where have you seen that? You saw it at Tarxien Temple Complex in Malta, and you saw it at Gobekli Tepe right there. This right here is Tiahuanaco in the Bolivian Altiplano, the ancient ruins off Lake Titicaca at 12,000 foot altitude. This statue was discovered. Look at the fingers. This is Tiahuanaco. Look at the style of art here with the eyes. At Easter Island, this is Easter Island right here, and this is Hittite. Why is a Hittite statue a match for an Easter Island statue? Because the Boustrophon writing that goes as the cow plows, that's why it's called Boustrophon. Oh, you read it from right to left, you go to the next deal, you read it from left to right. You read it from, and then you read it from right to left, and then you read it from left to right. It's an ancient style of writing. It's found in Hittite texts. The Hittites wrote like that. And many Hittite symbols happen to look like Rongo Rongo. Here is, look at the eyes. How the eyes were done on a Hittite statue. Look how the eyes were done at Easter Island. Why is this? It's because this is the Heliolithic Maritime Empire. I've told you so much about it all throughout my research. There was a worldwide mariner race, and they were building megalithic complexes all over the world at the exact same time, and they thought they had 48 more years until a cataclysm. But the great flood, when the sky fell, 2239 BC in the month of May, the phoenix appeared and it changed the timeline. Prior to that, they were on a 600-year timeline called the Nur, which was 216,000 turnings of the stars. It is the origin of the Vedic system. It's why the Kali Yuga was 432,000 years. Those years were actually days. 432,000 is 2 Nur. It's 216,000 plus 216,000. 2 Nur is 600 years plus 600 years, because a 600-year period is exactly 216,000 days. All you got to do is take a calculator. 216,000 divided by the ancient year of 360 days, and you'll get 600 years. 2 Nur is 1,200 years. That same 1,200-year period is exactly 3 Mayan Bactans. A Mayan Bactan is 144,000 days, but 3 Mayan Bactans is 432,000 days. The original pre-flood calendar was a day count system, and that's why all these calendars were totally misunderstood after the cataclysm, because they started applying years post-reset, when before the cataclysm, everything was counted like Genesis says. In the evening and the morning was the first day. In the evening and the morning was the second day. It never says the years of Noah. It says the last days. And in the days of Noah, and in the days of Abram, in the days of Jacob, in the days of Israel. You'll never find a phrase that says in the years of. So, the artwork on two different sides of the world also was a match, because the Heliolithic Maritime Empire was one single culture. Look at this style of artwork. It's a pillar. Where have you seen this style of artwork? The method, this pillar would have been way bigger than this, but what happened? Excuse me, what happened? They planed it down around the patterns that they left behind, creating bas relief birds, people, and symbols. The top of this pillar has this bird here. This is in ancient no, this is in Southeast Asia, like Cambodia. Here's the bird. What is really interesting is that this little guy up here is holding a bucket. This guy has a bucket, he's just not holding it. Uh-oh. Now we're about to go down a rabbit hole. What's up with these buckets? Tiwanaku. What's going on? Look how his hands are folded in front of him. Uh-oh. Look how the hands and fingers are in the front on all these. Look at this. Uh-oh. There's Gobekli Tepe. But he's out of place because he's identical to the figurines on Malta. Tiwanaku. Easter Island. Peru. Whoa. I like that. There's Peru. Look at that. Where have we seen that T face? That T, being the predominant part of the face, is a statue at Gobekli Tepe. Oh, that little Olmec statue looks mad. It's a Gate of the Sun, Tiwanaku. Statue found at Tiwanaku. Look at the fingers. Folded over the front. Just like Gobekli Tepe. Easter Island. This is Easter Island. That megalithic wall right there, identical to Peru and Tiwanaku, but it's Easter Island. Man, did that bucket open up a rabbit hole. All right, blunt bitch. These pictures are amazing, huh? We ain't got to the good pictures. Like I said, I've got new information from our archaics veterans, new photos, new pictures, new data. The shit's gonna blow your mind. We're merely covering what we've already covered in archaics before right now because it's necessary for you to see what is now being revealed. So, next file. This is Gobekli Tepe again. Just so we're all on the same page. Pillar 43. That's what this video is going to interpret. Here's Pillar 43. There's 3 buckets up here. Now, you understand, a lot of people call them the handbags. They call it, but they're not. We have an entire video here in Archaics. It's about 4 hours long that breaks down the handbag and shows you that all these ancient deities that were holding on to that handbag and holding on to that pine cone are not holding on to a handbag. And that is not a pine cone in their hand. We have shown affirmatively that that is a bucket. And it was a bucket from the ancient world, and that is not a pine cone. It is a phoenix palm. So, you've seen this seal. You see that bird. You see that bird. That bird directly over these fish. You see Enki coming from the underworld. Look, he's coming out of a sipapu. Enki emerges from the underworld during a period when this is in the sky. Here are the living waters of Enki and the fish. Fish are emblematic of people, humans. Come, and I will make you fishers of men. These fish are emblematic of people. Enki, later known as Ea, is Lord of the Deep. and is described as having come from the underworld. In the above seal, Enki appears when the goddess Inanna is supreme. Enki's appearance linked to a great sky bird. When he first appears, it is the time of much flooding. Enki is a creator of mankind, bringer of civilization, god of wisdom and living waters, a protector and mediator between the Anunnaki and mankind. He is always depicted as bearded and has access to the underworld. Enki created the seven Abgal, or Apkallu, seven divine guardians and counselors called the Umanu, assigned to the seven kings of Sumer to aid them in benefiting mankind with civilization. Here's our hero. That's Enki. On the left, Enki is between the waters under the winged disc. Here are the waters. That's water. That's water coming out of these vessels. Enki is between the waters. His feet are not on the ground. And he is supporting the winged disc. What is this? That's a disc. And those are birds' wings. What is going on? This is not the sun. He gives divine instructions to the Abgal to protect mankind. These are the Abgal that are going to stay on Earth as shamans and bird guardians who are man-like birds. They're just counselors of the kings, the 7 or 8 kings of Sumer on the king list. The Abgal are stewards of the secrets of Enki, benefactors, and possess the buckets of living water. What? What? How did people miss that? Enki leaves behind the Abgal to help the kings of the earth rule. They contain buckets. They hold buckets. The buckets contain divine and living water. On the right, Enki is on a winged object having ascended into the sky, leaving behind his Abgal to minister the human kings as benefactors of civilization. These are human kings. They are standing next to the tree of life, which is a phoenix palm. Supporting the human kings are the Abgal in their bird uniforms, holding the divine buckets. The buckets contain divine information concerning mankind. They are supporting. They're supporting the king. But Enki is gone. How do we know? He is in the sky. He is completely gone. And Enoch ascended, and he was not, for God took him. Here he is. Before Enki's departure, his Abkalu received his living water and divine instructions. They wear the mantle of ancient civilization, bringing mariners so popular in ancient traditions. They hold the buckets as symbols of their stewardship, of possessing divine secrets and authority. Here they are. These are the mantles of an ancient mariner race. And fish became the symbol of men. Here they are receiving the divine waters of Enki. Enki has departed into the sky and leaves behind him the divine instructions on a pillar that the Apkallu associate to the tree of life. Saluting Enki's departure, the Apkallu begin their career as the Umanu, or counselors to the 7 kings of Sumer, holding the buckets as badges of their office. This is a phoenix palm. And there goes Enki. Enki is Etana. He is also Enoch. He is later remembered as Enoch, who disappeared into the sky and left behind kingship. Ancient Etana seals show the bucket. Remember, this bucket is on Gobekli Tepe. What are you looking at here? Look at that. There's a bucket. What are you looking at here? That's a bucket. These are all vessels here. I got another video that decodes all this and shows you what these vessels are. See how all the vessels are different? Each vessel represents a human body. These circles are the souls that are picked by this deity. This god chooses which circle goes into which body. There's a bucket. Here's a bucket. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's the bucket. Here's the good shepherd. The good shepherd's holding his bucket. Look, holding that bucket. Here's the guardians. Canines and felines, when they're like this, these are guardians. One's holding a bucket. Here's a man holding a bucket. What is this symbolism? It's on Gobekli Tepe. Look at that bird up there. Uh-oh, there's a bird in the sky. There's Enki riding the bird, but the bucket was left behind. But it's being guarded. A bucket is a container. Here's this guy again. Oh, we've seen that one, holding the bucket. There's the bucket right there in the middle. This god is selecting which soul goes into this vessel, which soul goes into that vessel, which soul goes into that vessel, which soul goes into this vessel. This is really interesting. This is Assyrian. The reason it's interesting is because this is a bucket on an Assyrian Apkallu. An Assyrian Apkallu is holding this bucket, but the bucket has a scene of the phoenix palm, which is a tree of life. Here's two Apkallu, and they're holding buckets. And this is the scene on a bucket, and above the phoenix palm is the winged disc. Wings and a disc are a feature on Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe. If you think it's a stretch, pay attention. Ancient Americas. Here is somebody holding the bucket. Here's an ancient bucket. Here are two either felines or canines. Hero in the middle, two serpents. Also a feature of Gobekli Tepe. Apkallu holding the bucket. Here's Enki coming up from the underworld. I don't think there's a bucket on here, but there is the phoenix. The phoenix is right there. There's another one. The bucket and the phoenix palm. That's not a pine cone. That is a phoenix palm. Phoenix palm in his hand. This is a phoenix palm a tree, which is stylized as the tree of life. And this is the king holding on to the bucket. It's all inky coming from the underworld again. Got a bunch of these pictures. So this is going to be important. This is a bucket symbol. This is the guardianship symbol, the two animals. But this adds more to it. This is a stylized scorpion. What you're going to find out about scorpions in this video is going to completely collapse that bullshit Graham Hancock interpretation of Pillar 43 being Scorpio. All right, let's move on. We've already seen all these little buckets. So many. There's the buckets on Pillar 43, Gobekli Tepe. There's the bird in the disc. There's the bird over the fish, over the serpent. There's a scorpion. There's another bird down here right next to a human missing his head. It all has deep meanings, guys. We're going to get to it. Look at this. Holding the bucket at Tiwanaku. Holding the bucket at Tiwanaku in South America. Phoenix palm and bucket. And remember, Apkalus were birds. These are birdmen. Just like Easter Island, birdmen. What was the birdman doing in Easter Island? He was holding the disc. You saw that. I asked you in the chat. If you see what I see, put it in the chat. There was a birdman holding the disc. Just like Gobekli Tepe, the bird is holding the disc with his wing. Scholarship holds no infrastructure anywhere in the world prior to 3500 BC, and the enigmatic handbag symbols date from 2500 to 500 BC. But suddenly, Gobekli Tepe, which boasts the same symbols, is 8000 BC. 5,500 years before the bucket symbols appeared anywhere else in the world. Yeah, man. That's because this site is nowhere near that old. They have misdated this by 4,000 years. All right, we're moving right along. Moving on up. I'm on file number 11. File number 11. What is going on? What happened when after the cataclysm, humans are populating everywhere, building cities and all that? What do they naturally do? They naturally stylize older concepts and symbols and merge them, as we see here. Look what they did. It still has the same meanings. They've only made them more sophisticated. Look at this. Ancient Egyptian. Ancient Egyptian. There's the disc. There's the wings. You're told all the time by these know-it-alls, well, that's just the disk of the sun. That's just, yeah. Here is the scarab, the little beetle of resurrection. Here's the Egyptian ankh, ankhs, symbol for life. There's the little, even though this is a bird, it does have the cobra emblems on the side. Serpents, just like Gobekli Tepe shows snakes on the pillar. It's so crazy. A bird on the left side of a disc on Pillar 43, Gobekli Tepe. Egyptian hieroglyph shows a bird on the left side of a disc. Right here. Clear as day. Clear as day. Right next to what? A serpent. Oh, we're gonna get deeper than this, guys. At the top, this was painted. This is a red disc. Red disc, two cobras. Here is a great winged symbol. They're merging concepts. Here's the concept, or here's an older concept of a man being carried away on a wing. Is it the sun? No. Sun's right here. There's the moon. That's the symbol for the moon. This is something else. There it is again, stylized. This is a merging of the bird and disc you saw at Gobekli Tepe. This is a merging of those symbols and those ideas. Here it is again. This is a merging. No, it's not the sun and moon. This is not the sun. There it is again. The disc with the wings. There's your phoenix palms. These are your guardian apkallu in their bull forms. That's post-cataclysm. Pre-cataclysm, they were birds. After the cataclysm, they were bulls. Here it is again, highly stylized. Look at this, stylized. It's still over the tree of life. The disc, the winged disc. Here's the winged disc. You can barely see it right here above this guy, but that's it right there. Here's the winged disc over the pillar of the tree. This is ancient Iran. This is Persia. Here's the winged disc. There's the disc. You can see the disc symbol here or here. But there's the wing. Here's ancient Egypt. This is the Benben stone. The Benben stone was housed in the mansion of the Phoenix in Heliopolis. So this is a direct reference to the Bennu bird, the phoenix bird of Egypt, right here. Just draw something to your attention. It's highly stylized right here. Winged disc above here. Look at this. What do you see? What do you see here? Bird, wings on a disc. Here's the disc merged with the wings and the scarab, the Egyptian scarab symbol. There it is again. It's red. The wing disc is red. What's going on down here? Disc, bird, life, Neteru. Neteru's god. What's going on down here? Here's the disc. What's going on here? These are birds. These aren't sphinxes. Look closer. These are birds. There's the disc. Winged disc. This is ancient America, I think. I don't want to call that, man. That's not Hittite. This hat. That's Mayan. I want to say Hittite, but man, I don't know. Again, here's the disc. Here's the disc, winged disc. So the same symbol, same concept, but it's highly stylized. But this disc and this bird concept put together, It was so important that it's found everywhere in the ancient world. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. This too is Egyptian. There's your disc. There's your bird. Egyptian painting. There's your red disc. There's your bird. Looks more like a crow. Disc, bird. Again, we have that up here too. Bird holding the ankh. There's two discs up here. Bird, disc, disc, bird. What? What's going on? Cranes and herons? What do they mean? More importantly, what did they mean to the ancient Egyptians? As which I will reveal. Look at this. What? Why the bird and the disc symbol together everywhere? Hey, I like that, Catherine Muschetti. It's a disco bird. It's a disco bird. I like that. Here's the bark of millions of years. The falcon and the disc. Look at this. What's going on? What is going on? Gobekli Tepe set a trend. What is going on? Just because something is a petroglyph doesn't make it Neolithic. It doesn't make it ancient. 500 years ago, Native Americans were etching in petroglyphs. Why was this symbol so important? The bird and the disc. This is ancient Minoan gold. What do you see? Bird and disc. Bird and disc. Bird and disc. There's that duck again. Duck and disc. Yeah, man. It's everywhere. What is going on? Oh, I'm going to tell you what's going on. It's a very ancient symbol. Vulture and disc. Again, vulture and disc. Now, the vulture adds meaning, as we'll see, because vultures are what's on Gobekli Tepe Pillar 43. And the beliefs about vultures change the meaning of the pillar. In ancient Egypt, a heron combined with a sun disk represents the Bennu bird, a sacred solar deity that symbolizes creation, rebirth, and the eternal cycle of life and renewal. Everybody who follows archaics already knows the Egyptian Bennu bird is the phoenix. You can't get around that. It's everywhere in the ancient world. So we have here, when you see that bird and the disc together, it is a reference to Bennu bird. All Bennu references are references to the phoenix. Oh, but we're not done. No, we're not. What? So, Jason, you may be reaching. We understand that your research is really focused on Typhon and the Phoenix. This is what some guy I can't even call it a debate because he ignored every single thing that I posted. But some guy on X, man, I was bouncing shit. He levied that accusation too. Said, man, y'all, I understand Phoenix and the Typhon is your shit. And you know what, man? I dismissed him. He's not trying to learn anything. So, Jason, you might be reaching, man. I mean, I understand that they're saying that the bird in the disc is a reference to Bennu, but everything all around the world being the Phoenix related, man, I told you all roads lead to the Phoenix. In this one file, I'm going to show you because the bird in the disc is also two other symbols. They're all merged, and it's the bird and the snake and the bird and the fish. It's the same thing. Let me show you. Let me show you, because it was this image that triggered the shit out of me when I was going through Barry Fell's material, because I know I've seen a bird eating a fish in this way, and I know I've saw it in 2 or 3 other places. And this image is why this video came into being, and how I went down a rabbit hole that led me straight to Pillar 43 at Gobekli Tepe. Wasn't even trying to go there. This is a bird, and the bird is plucking a fish. It doesn't seem real. This is from Cyprus. This is Greek, ancient Greek. Cyprus. Doesn't seem more than anything but art, right? It's just art. It doesn't have any meaning, right? The ancient Maya also thought it was important to show a bird plucking at a fish. A bird plucking at a fish. A bird eating a fish. That's Nazca. This is Paracus. This is all ancient America. A bird plucking a fish in the form of a vessel. What's a vessel? It's like a bucket. This is Scotland. We're way northern hemisphere now in Scotland. A bird over a fish. What? New Mexico. A bird plucking at a fish. Babylonian vase. A bird plucking at a fish on a Babylonian vase. Circa 2100 BC. What is good? There's something else going on here. This is entirely too coincidental. What? Ancient Peru has a glyph of a bird eating a fish? Where did that come from? Can anybody answer me that? Where did that come from? Here is a crest from feudal Poland. This is like 400 years ago in Poland. A bird over a fish. So, in ancient Egypt, the heron is one of the most significant spiritual symbols, primarily representing creation, rebirth, and the rising sun. It is most famously manifested in the Bennu bird, a divine avian deity that served as the precursor to the Greek myth of the phoenix. Jason, it's a stretch, man. You're trying to say all these birds are secret symbols for the phoenix and they have something to do with the fish? That's a stretch, Jason. What is the meaning of heron eating a fish in ancient Egypt? Synthesizing the individual meanings of the heron and the fish reveals that a heron eating a fish in ancient Egypt represents the triumph of cosmic order over chaos, the continuous cycle of solar rebirth, and the ultimate transformation of the soul. What? So, Jason, you're trying to say that the phoenix has something to do with destroying the world and yet saving humanity at the same time? Don't you think that's a stretch? The ancient Egyptians didn't think it's a stretch because they turned the concept into a hieroglyph. Egyptian hieroglyph, a bird plucking at a fish. If you think that this is a stretch, the argument does not lie on me. You need to find the individual 400 years ago who turned this into a European herald. This is a coat of arms 400 years ago in Europe. So you can't accuse me of making the stretch that the bird symbols and glyphs found worldwide of a bird and a disc has the same connotations as the bird and the fish, and that plucking at the fish, the bird, is actually the phoenix plucking at mankind. The phoenix brings terrestrial destruction, but at the same time, it's a fisher of men. It's a kingfisher. Next file. Oh, this is going to get good, guys. This is the Phaistos disc, ancient Minoan. It was believed discovered in 1900 or 1901. This is the Phaistos disc. Very, very enigmatic, but the individual symbols have been translated. Have been translated. I mean, the symbols themselves have. How to read it, some people believe they've decoded it. We have one scholar who thinks he did decode it, and what's really interesting is he knows nothing about the phoenix. He knows nothing about any of the archaics research, but he shows that this symbol right here, there is a symbol of a bird with something in his talons. He doesn't know if it's a fish or what, but the bird seems to be holding something. Can't tell what it is. It's the bird. Doesn't know what it is. It's on the Phaistos disc. But he specifically translates that section. In the land of waters, the plants are without the light of the sun god. In the land of the waters, the plants are without the light of the sun god. He says scholars date this document between 850 and 1600 BC during the Hyksos period, as in the story of the Exodus of Moses and the Phaistos disc, the world was in total darkness. So his translation of this is that something happened to our world and cast it into darkness. And the area was known to already have a bunch of water, but it didn't get any light of the sun. And he says, regarding the question of a link between the Phaistos disc and the Exodus of Moses, I am now convinced that one exists. However, this link may not be a casual link. The problem with this is he's buying into the Santorini volcano and the volcanic ash of 1447 as being this event. I'm not buying into that. He's too busy trying to link the Phaistos darkening of the sun in the Phaistos disc connected to that bird holding something. He's trying to connect it to Moses, but there's nothing in the disc about Moses. There's nothing in the disc about Santorini. The disc, just the disc alone, has a symbol of a bird holding something, and the part where the bird is, it says that the sun had vanished from the sky over the land that was covered in water. That is compelling. Also, the date scholars give this is the Ogygian deluge, 1687 BC. That's the date that was given right here. This is Minoa, the Minoan deal. This is the same place, Knossos, the ancient Minoan Crete, that I showed you that gold pin, little ornament that has a bird and a disc. Same place. Same place. Oh shit, what happened in the chat? Thumbs up from Argentina. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Let's see. Let's move to China. Why go to China? Because so many Chinese artifacts mirror Gobekli Tepe. So we need to look a little bit more into China. Remember, China has a huge underground complex called Phoenix Hill. So let's look at China. Oh, this is going to get good. Let's look at China. What do we have for China here? So, do you see this? This is a bird over a disc. That might be the sun. So the sun symbolizes the source of life. In the context of sovereignty, the sun is the symbol of enlightenment and is sometimes depicted by the three-legged crow on a red disc. That's a three-legged crow. 3 legs, three-legged crow on a disc. The three-legged crow is a creature of various mythologies. Well, I'll say, let's look into that crow. Here's the three-legged crow right here. This is a funerary stone carving from the Eastern Han Dynasty. Pretty interesting. So the three-legged crow has something to do with the sun darkening. Yeah, it's all down here. That 9 suns went out, and it was the three-legged crow that was the hero that saved the 10th sun. Chinese myth. Here it is. A sun is a symbol of yang energy, representing strength, masculinity, power, growth, and creative force in the universe. It signifies vitality and illumination and was closely associated with the emperor as a symbol of heavenly authority. We know this from our research in archaics. Anytime something bad happened to the sun, the mandate of heaven changed, and the emperor had to step down, be banished, and a new emperor would take his place. So in Chinese mythology, the sun is often depicted as a three-legged crow within a red disc, a powerful emblem of solar energy. Why a crow? Why was the sun associated to a crow? How did the Chinese even get that idea? So weird. Such a weird idea. So let's go look at the three-legged crow. Oh man, I got so many things to share with you guys. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see this. Need to hide that. The three-legged crow. Let's see. The three-legged crow is a creature from the Chinese mythology believed to inhabit and represent the sun. The most famous Chinese legend about the three-legged crow is the legend about the 10 suns. There once existed 10 suns. So it's 10 three-legged crows. One for each day of the Chinese 10-day week. They were the sons of supreme deity and the god and the sun goddess. The 10 sun crows lived in a mulberry tree named Fusang. which was located somewhere near the East China Sea. Wow, they even knew where it was located. Wow. All right, let's see. The sun was pulled by a dragon horse chariot. It would bring light to the mortal world. But one day the sun crows became restless and mischievous and all left the Fusang tree at once with disastrous consequences. With all 10 suns in the sky, the temperature on Earth became unbearably hot. Mass chaos ensued, crops shriveled up, and people fainted in the streets as the earth began to burn. Wild monsters emerged from the shadows and began to prey on humanity. It sounds like a Nemesis X tertiary field. To prevent the destruction of the earth, the Emperor Yao asked Dijon, the father of the 10 sons, to persuade his children to go back to the mulberry tree and go back to appearing in the sky at one time. But the sun crows would not listen. They were having too much fun. So an archer named Hao Yi, considered to be the greatest archer of all time, was called to frighten the disobedient sons. So he's armed with a magic bow and a bow made of dragon tendon and arrows that were made of tiger's bones. And let's see, however, he shot at the sky, but they did not obey him. So he raised his magic bow and shot down 9 of the 10 crows. Oh, he shot them down with his arrows. The last son that remained got so frightened that it hid in a cave and refused to come out. This is a sun darkening episode. Same thing is spoken of in Japan when the sun disappeared during the reign of the goddess Amaterasu. The sun hid in a cave. The sun darkened. The sky went black. Attached to a legend of a crow. The earth was now plunged into an unbearable darkness and cold. Every living thing in the world begged the last sun to come back out. Finally, the rooster shouted, "Brother!" Hearing the rooster's shout, loud, shrill voice, the last remaining sun finally emerged from his cave. The rooster is a different type of avian. It's like a chicken. So again, a nod toward Nemesis X tertiary. We got chickenosauruses running around. And the sun came back after that tertiary event was over with. Let's see, Eastern, I believe. Okay, so this guy that wrote this says, I believe that this is also a story that talks about one specific event, a catastrophic weather event which happened 4,200 years ago. That is almost exactly 2239 BC, the day the sky fell, the Typhon event. So let's move on. We can see China. So anyway, that's the legend. I just wanted to show you that it's a crow. The reason it's important is because the crow. The crow is associated to the sun darkening, as we will see in ancient American traditions now. Oh, by the way, the event that this guy is talking about, he says right here 42 centuries ago, he wrote right here that it started a legend and a tradition, a ceremony carried out by the people in the months of April and May. What? Come on, guys. Mara Cakes veterans know why people after a cataclysm would create rituals and stuff for the month of April and May. You already know why. I shouldn't have to tell you. In our cakes, I should not have to tell you why. Let's see here. If there's anything else left in this, I'm not going to go through this whole PDF. 10 crows. Yeah, this is all just everywhere in ancient China that this legend was painted on palaces. It must have been a big deal. It was a big deal. Yeah. There's the crow. Oh, it's also associated to the crow because crows actually, look at that. Well, crows in China nest in late March, early April. They hatch their eggs after 20 days in April, and the crows fledge by May. That's why they associated the sun darkening to the crow, because the crow is fully developed by the month of May. Imagine that. Archaics veterans for the win. All right. So, no younger Dryas in here. He nails it 42 centuries ago. 22, he even said 2200 BC. Nailed it for the Typhon event and the month of May. Absolutely nailed it. Ancient China doesn't know shit about the Phoenix history. Absolutely nailed it. Remember in my early Phoenix research, I explained to an old Bronze Age tradition that anytime there was an eclipse, the best archers of the realm were assembled, and the best hero archer had to shoot an arrow north, south, east, and west, and the fifth arrow went up to the sky, and that ceremony would bring the sun back, and the sun wouldn't stay darkened. It's an old Bronze Age institution of shooting arrows into the sky anytime there's an eclipse. They did that to help the sun. All right. Oh, we're moving right along. Man, I love this. I'm so excited to show this chart. This chart is going to blow your mind. All right. So, moving right along, ravens and crows. In Celtic myths, goddess Morrigan is linked to ravens, which appear in threes, signaling her presence. Welsh myths associate ravens with death and the transformation of witches. For Native Americans, the raven is often a trickster figure. Some tribes also saw them as soul stealers. This is directly connected to Gobekli Tepe. Odin is accompanied by two ravens, Hugin, Thought, and Munin, Memory, who served as his spies. Here's Corvus the crow in the constellations, over the serpent Hydra, next to Crater, the cup, the bucket. Raven who stole the sun from the oral tradition of indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast. Long ago, the world lay in darkness. A great chief kept the sun, moon, and stars hidden inside boxes within his house, refusing to share their light. Raven, the trickster and transformer, devised a plan. Taking the form of a child, he won the chief's trust until the treasures were opened one by one. So basically, it's saying that the raven, which is also a crow, is associated, it's a black bird, it's associated to the sun going dark for a period of time, not just an eclipse, but for a period of time until a hero emerged and rescued the sun. In some Native American lore, the raven is a trickster who stole the sun and brought light to the world. So he's a hero. There are books about this. Raven brings back the sun. This is the tale in Canada. Here's another one, How Raven Stole the Sun. It's a different author. In Greek mythology, the legend of Corvus the crow tells the story of Apollo's sacred white crow. Why is this interesting? Because Apollo is the sun god. It's the sun god. Move on. Oh, we're drawing to a close here. I'm about to I'm going to wrap this up within 30 minutes. But first, we got to go to Africa. We have to understand the connection between a bird and the sun. Yeah, because it's on the pillar of Gobekli Tepe. So let's see what Africa has to tell us about this. Because I'm pretty sure when it comes to indigenous, Australia, Native Americans, and Africans are the best at preserving oral traditions. So let's see what Let's see what comes out of Africa. The bird that brought the sun. How a fearless bird saved the Ashanti people from eternal darkness. Elizabeth Fabelwhale. Here it is right here. Oh, they got their bow and arrow. That looks like a phoenix to me. Long ago, before the first morning ever came, the land of Ashanti lay in endless night. The moon floated in by firelight. Children played in the glow of burning torches, and hunters carried clay pots filled with glowing embers to guide their steps. The elders told that the sun had once shone brilliantly over the Ashanti lands. It had ripened the yams, gilded the cocoa pods, and filled the river waters with shimmering life. But one day, the greedy Sky King captured the sun. He locked it inside a brass cage high in his palace among the clouds. This is an African story that's literally telling us that there was a long period of time when the sun did not appear in the sky, but the moon was still seen. How is this possible? I've told you guys, it's a vapor canopy world. You can't see the sun by day because the passage of the sun over the mesosphere clouds up the canopy and creates this dark purple like shell. And you just see the sky lighten, but you can't see the sun. But at nighttime, that heat is gone. The sun is gone. So the mesosphere gets cold. Suspended water droplets now turn into a magnifying glass, and the stars and the moon are shown brilliantly at night. When the sun comes back the next morning, the sky clouds up. It's a dark purple light. So this is the vapor canopy world, and it's admitted to right here in an African tradition. So I will bring back the sun, said a tiny yellow weaver bird named Anine. Before the dark hour, before dawn, Anine took to the air and reached the Sky King's palace. Anine began to sing a song unlike any heard in the palace. The Sky King stepped onto his balcony to listen, and when she saw her chance, she swooped down and caught the key to the cage of the sun in her beak. Before the Sky King could move, she sped to the cage. Anine turned the key, and the cage door swung wide with a sound like a clap of thunder. In an instant, the sun blazed free, racing upward into the sky. In the villages below, people shielded their eyes against the brightness. Shadows fled. When Anine landed in the drum house, the chiefs bowed their heads. You have done what warriors could not. Chief Kwaku, I guess it's Kwaku, said, from this day, the yellow weaver bird shall be a sign of hope to our people. It's a simple African tradition, but it identifies the bird and the sun and a long period of time when the sun didn't appear. And then the sun did appear. In the archaics research and chronology, we know the Typhon event, the day the sky fell, the collapse of the vapor canopy, the flood of Noah, the Typhon flood are all the same event in the month of May 2239 BC, symbolized in all these traditions and all these symbols as a bird and a disc together. Next file. File number 18. This is an image of Catalhuyuk. Catalhuyuk is near Gobekli Tepe. The reason it's important for you to understand, this is a spiritual symbol. The exact same symbol is found on Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe. This is the vulture. The vulture plucking the head off of a man he's not killing the man, but then again, he kind of is, because the vulture is also the phoenix. The phoenix destroys the world. But the symbolism to Neolithic cultures of the head, the soul was possessed inside the skull, in the head. This symbol is the death of mankind, but the savior of his soul, allowing him to pass into the next world. Plucking his head was saving his soul. This is how ancients regarded this. This was not a terrible act. When ancient people saw images like this, they understood what it meant. Oh, when we die here, the great vulture, the great phoenix, make sure that our soul is flown to where it needs to go. It also had the dual meaning that when the great phoenix comes and the world is destroyed, the souls of men find their exit in the destruction. So this is the exact symbol that's found on Gobekli Tepe, as I will show, on Pillar 43. This is Pillar 43. Here's the bird holding the sun right here. This is the bird over the snake, which is also the fish, right here. Vultures in indigenous artwork. Those are vultures on Pillar 43. Vultures in indigenous artwork and stories have variously been depicted as messengers of the gods, ferrying dead souls to the afterlife, or malicious spirits that bring death with them. To the Kamayura people of Brazil, the Milky Way in the night sky was ruled by Urubutsen, a two-headed vulture god, who once greedily kept all of the light of the universe to himself, a sun-darkening episode, a vapor canopy. Later defeated, he was forced to share that light, giving half to the sun and half to the moon. That's a vulture god. The Maya had a complicated spiritual relationship with vultures. Though they associated it with death and misfortune, the Maya also honored the vulture as a sacred creature. That balance is more common in indigenous belief systems across the world than in Western religions. Neither good nor evil, the vulture is simply a force of nature with both positive and negative aspects, and clearly an important one across the cultures and traditions. After the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt around 3000 BC, the animal symbols of the two regions, the vulture and the cobra, became synonymous with the pharaohs. For centuries, the leaders of Egypt were always depicted wearing both, symbolizing the new unity of the state. This is about 2400 BC, when the vulture and the cobra were worn together on the Nemes head, little whatever that helmet was that they wore. The vulture and the phoenix are deep mythological parallels rooted in ancient ideas of transformation, divine connection, and the cyclical balance between death and life. Shared symbolism of rebirth and afterlife. This is just the list that goes down showing that both the vulture and the phoenix are associated to ferrying the souls of the dead. They are associated to the sun itself. They are associated at taking the souls of people into the next life, into the next world. Here is the Egyptian. This is actually the unification of the two Egypts. One Egypt is represented by the cobra, one Egypt is represented by the vulture or the phoenix. So the headdresses that showed both the vulture and the head meant that pharaoh was ruling over both Upper and Lower Egypt. Oh, we're moving right along. Moving on up. Next file. Next file. Let me share my screen. This is super significant because what you're seeing here is an Apkallu. An Apkallu in his bird form, half bird, half human, but he's got his wings. One of the original pre-flood guardians left behind by Enki to help the kings of Sumer rule over mankind in wisdom and in knowledge. This is an Abkelu. He is supporting the winged disc. But what's really unique about this is from Heron Tepe, right here. This is only 200 miles from Gobekli Tepe. How far are the vulture and the cobra apart? The two Egypts are 450 miles apart. There's 450 miles of desert in between the Giza complex and all the pyramids in northern Egypt and southern Egypt that has no pyramids. But it has Karnak, Waset, Thebes, Edfu, and the Valley of the Kings. Yeah, most people don't know that, man. You see all these encyclopedia pictures and shit, and they show all these badass Egyptian temples and shit, but those are all in the south. North Egypt is all pyramids. They're 450 miles apart. But this, Heron Tepe, is only 200 miles away from Gobekli Tepe. But Gobekli Tepe's 8,000 BC, 11, what? 10,000 years ago. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. No, man. It just doesn't. Oh, antique. That's symbol for the moon. I don't remember why that's in there. This is like Catalhuyuk. This is the snake on top of a human skull. Here is Corvus the bird over the dark black sun. Look, we got Apkallu. Modern European versions of Apkallu. The sun, Corvus the crow that darkens the sun, the moon, the Apkallu, and the black sun. How do you know it's a black sun? Look at it. That's a sun that went black. This is Gobekli Tepe. This is the location of Gobekli Tepe right here. Just 200 miles from it is Heron Tepe. Hold on just a second here. All right. So I got two more things to show you after this, but you got to understand what we just went through. The bucket symbols. The bucket symbols only date to 3400 BC at their earliest and afterward. The bird and the sun merged together. The winged disc is 2600 BC at the earliest and after. Chinese parallels of Gobekli Tepe were dated by Chinese scholars at only 3000 BC. The Easter Island parallels of Gobekli Tepe date to 2000 BC at their earliest. 6,000 years after Gobekli Tepe. The Heron and the Sun Disk motif date to 2200 BC at the earliest. The Heron Pecking, a fish motif, dates to 1800 BC at the earliest. The Kivas of the ancient Americas that parallel Gobekli Tepe with the Sipapu chambers in the bottom, just like Gobekli Tepe have, yeah, those Kivas only date to 1000 BC at the earliest. 7,000 years after the dating of Gobekli Tepe. It doesn't make sense. The script seal at Gobekli Tepe, the writing, writing dates to 3400 BC at the earliest. They're 5,000 years off with Gobekli Tepe. Writing has been found at Gobekli Tepe. The Tarxien Complex of Malta and the artifacts paralleling Gobekli Tepe date to 3400 BC at the earliest. The Tiwanaku parallels of Gobekli Tepe date to 2500 BC at the earliest. Same style of art, same method of masonry. Egyptian vulture parallels to Gobekli Tepe date to 2600 BC at their earliest. I'm just recapping. Everything is at a minimum of 5,000 years off for the dating of Gobekli Tepe. And all the other Tepe sites and the Huyuk sites. Yeah, A bunch of the Neolithic sites need to be pushed back further in time. They've pushed them too far back because they're using uniformitarian models. But we need to, I got more to show you. I'm not going to get on that trip. We've already attacked uniformitarianism too many times before. But the scorpion, you have to understand the significance of the scorpion before you can ever accurately interpret. Thank you for the jewels. Thumbs up. The scorpion is paramount to understanding, to be able to accurately interpret Pillar 43 of Gobekli Tepe. You can never associate that scorpion to Scorpio. It's stupid. It's really stupid. It's a mistake no one should have made. No one of professional standing should have never made that mistake. Scorpions are one of the holiest symbols of the ancient world. I understand it sounds weird because you don't know the facts yet, but you will in a second. You will in a second. But scorpions are amazing in their symbolism. Do not think that because they are an arachnid that they're horrifying. What they meant to the ancient world is going to blow your mind. So I'm going to show you. Remember, Scorpion King was a benefactor. Pre-flood world, Egypt, Scorpion King was a benefactor. Scorpions are everywhere in the ancient world. Look at these scorpions. Look at these scorpions up here at the top. I know she looks lewd. She should behave herself. Shame on her. But these are scorpions. These are also scorpions on this disc. Ancient Egypt, scorpion. Pay attention. Look closely. If this was a horrific symbol, why was it so venerated? Why was the scorpion the center of attention almost everywhere? None of these pictures I'm showing you, none of these reliefs and effigies. Now, some of the illustrations do, but none of these reliefs and effigies have anything to do with the zodiac. Nothing. Why would ancient Egyptians put scorpions on the bottom of their feet? Why? Scorpion. Oh, this didn't come out very good. But that's a scorpion man. You see a scorpion tail? That's a scorpion man. A scarab beetle. This is a scarab beetle. This is a symbol for resurrection, the scarab, the afterlife in the underworld. Why does it have two scorpions on the bottom of the seal? Why would somebody put scorpions on the bottom of their feet? This is a totally different one. Totally different. Well, I'm going to tell you. So Mother Scorpion was a goddess before the flood. She was regarded as a protector and a guardian of humanity. Scorpions fiercely guard their young and carry them on their backs, making the creature a symbol of ideal maternal defense and nurturing power. Scorpion men in ancient Babylon, Old Babylonia, were called Gertu-Blilu, such as in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Hybrid scorpion men guarded the edges of the world. They guarded a divine threshold. Scorpion in Egypt was a powerful divine protection. Scorpion goddess was Serket. Serket guarded the organs of the dead in the afterlife. In China, the scorpion was a protector against evil powers. In Arabia, the scorpion was a protector against malevolent forces. In India, the scorpion was a protector and also symbolized transformative power. The ancient Maya and the ancient Americans have the scorpion as a protector and a symbol for death and rebirth. Why would the ancient Egyptians put scorpions on the bottom of the soles of their sandals and shoes? because the symbol literally means protect my path, make my way guarded. This is what it would have meant to the ancient Egyptians. The scorpion was guardianship, protection from life into the after death. Scorpions have one of the most profound meanings in the ancient world for a symbol. Look at this. These scorpions, scorpion tails, become cobras. Look at these old Akkadian and Sumerian seals. That's a scorpion. What are scorpions? They are guardians of the divine. That's what scorpion men are. Here's a scorpion here on the lower right corner. Right there's a scorpion. Look at the seal. Sumerian seal, scorpions on the bottom. Scorpions are not evil. Scorpions are not harmful. They are regarded as protectors and guardians. Scorpions. Look, this was popular. Here's a third. Here is a third image of putting scorpions on the bottom of your shoes. Look at that. There it is. Protect my path. Scorpion, ancient Egypt. Here is Assyrian or Sumerian, one of them. These are scorpion men. This is a scorpion man right here, which makes him a protector. What is he protecting? Humanity. How do we know he's protecting humanity? Because the Apkallu were specifically charged to guard over the affairs of kings and help them rule their flock. Their flock was humanity. Humanity, they did this with divine information from the bucket that they shared with the kings. The scorpion man is a protector of humanity. How do we know? Because they put the fish right here. The fish is the symbol of humans right here. It's also found in the New Testament, man. Drop all your stuff. Forget everything you're doing. Come and follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Scorpion. 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 Don't get me wrong. Scorpio was an ancient constellation. Don't get me wrong, it was. I'm not denying that. But Scorpio is not the focus, is not what is being identified on Pillar 43 Gobekli Tepe. Here's a fourth one right here of putting scorpions on the bottom of your feet. Protect my path. Scorpion man right there. These are all scorpions on the bottom, but this is a unification of symbols. These are scorpions with wings. They're birds with scorpion tails. You see the wing disc up here. You see the wing disc? Here's the tree of life, kings of the earth. But the focus is about mankind. That's the focus, the fish, mankind. The fish is emblematic of the sea of humanity. Scorpion guardians over the pillar. There's the wing disc above it. Look at that scorpion. It's some badass artwork. Some badass artwork. Oh, I'm about to show you something really interesting. That's a seal. That is a seal of protection. That's a seal. They stamped it on things. When they stamped that on something, they literally felt the magical power of protection extending to whatever they stamped that on. Guardianship. I'm gonna protect my chest. Boop, and stamp it with this stamp right here. Again, scorpion men. And now, with my next picture, I'm going to show you why the ancient world were fixated on the scorpion. The scorpion was like scorpion grandmother of the pre-flood world, the god one of the goddesses titles. The reason the reason the goddess was associated to the scorpion, the big fat woman that you saw, the Venus statues at Gobekli Tepe and at the Tarxien Temple in Malta, these goddess figures, the reason she was associated to the scorpion was because of this right here. This is what ancient people saw when they saw a scorpion. They saw a mother protecting her flock. This is what they saw. Yeah, it looks horrific to us, but the ancients didn't regard it that way. What they see is a protector. They see claws and a stinger ready to protect if anybody wants to get out of line and mess with any of these younglings. That's what they see. That's what they see. This is what the ancient world saw. They saw that unlike so many other creatures in the world, the scorpion is going to carry her brood wherever she goes. Doesn't lay larvae and eggs and leave them behind and do all, not like a turtle and lay eggs and go on. And people see the baby turtles on the sand struggling, getting eaten up by the seagulls and all that. And most of them never make it out to sea. Yeah, man, not the scorpion. She's raising hers. And to the ancient world, that was the ultimate symbol of protection. Yeah, man. Please don't zero in on them. Crystal. Yeah, man. Listen, opossums, yeah, opossums too. Yeah. I know it's a terrible looking creature, but the ancient mind didn't see things the way we do. To them, this was a noble act. To them, this was like, wow, scorpions are awesome. They're going to protect their young until they can protect themselves. So the scorpion became the ultimate guardian and protector. This is it. This is what they saw. Had nothing to do with Scorpio in the sky. Nothing to do with 11,600 BC Younger Dryas era. None of that bullshit. Nothing at all. So, I can't believe I kept this under 3 hours. Having reviewed all this material and gone through 300 and something images and descriptions of what you saw, everything can be distilled to a single chart that perfectly and easily deciphers for you what Pillar 43 at Gobekli Tepe is telling us. Let me show you. This is the end of my video. I'm going to show you this chart, and then I'm done. Hold on, just let me get this out. This is Pillar 43. Hold on, I'm trying to get it down more. There we go. All right, this is Pillar 43 right here. We start at the top because this is clear. There's never been a question about what this is. That's not just artistic. What you see at the top here is not just artistic. It's water. It's the symbol for water in almost every ancient culture. It literally became Aquarius, thousands of years later. The symbol for Aquarius. Water in a single line is vapor canopy sky, known as the waters above or the firmament. That's at the very top of the pillar. This pillar is a cosmology. Here it is. The top line, that top line is the waters above. It's the vapor canopy. It's the firmament. That's the waters above. Next, do you see the next time that appears on the pillar? Right here? Water in a double line. It's not a single line anymore. It's a double line. Water in a double line. Vapor canopy falls in great flood. This is 3439 BC. Pillar concerns cataclysm. Remember, Gobekli Tepe is not after 2239 BC. It's from a different flood, the Gihon flood. Marquez veterans know what we're talking about. It's when Enki appeared. 1,200 years before the great flood of Noah. 1,200 years being 432,000 turnings of the stars when the Anuna appeared before the flood. It is 3439 BC. That's the flood right here. Vapor canopy falls. That's what this is. That's why this is a double line. The double line signifies the waters above have fallen. The waters above have fallen and mixed with the waters of earth. Next line. You see the vulture. This is a vulture. This is the disc. Vulture, phoenix, wing has power over the sun, darkening it. Again, the bird is over the serpent and water snake. That's right here. Yellow box in the center. Buckets contain divine knowledge, symbolizing that mankind is a vessel containing the divine. Right here. This would be the period of time that mankind was flourishing during a vapor canopy period before the vapor canopy collapsed into a great flooding and killed off mankind. When it killed off mankind, it was because vulture phoenix wing has power over the sun. Yellow. Snakes, protectors of water, they are interchangeable with fish. Symbolize life and death. Shedding their skins was a kind of life after death. Here's the serpents right here. Bird over the serpent is the same as bird over a fish. Bird over a serpent, water snake, later over a fish is order out of chaos. Right here, the symbol. Scorpion. Scorpion over bird. See the scorpion over the bird down here? Reinforces that the vulture phoenix is divine protector of souls, passing gate to other world. That's what the scorpion's role is in the center of the pillar over this bird. What is this bird doing? This bird just plucked off the skull of this guy. That's a human. That's a human missing his head. The same thing we saw at Catalhuyuk. But what does the symbol mean? The vulture phoenix safely escorts souls of the dead out of the world in cataclysm. That's the headless man symbol. In Catalhuyuk, when the thunderbird, the great vulture, takes the head off of a body, that person was guaranteed their soul was guarded all the way into the next life. What is the body? What is this body? To them, the soul was in the head. What is the body? It's nothing but a bucket. It's a bucket. That's what the body is. A container of divine information. That's all it is. The bucket. You see this animal right here? Experts undecided if the canine or feline, but both are symbols of guardians. Acre lions, portals, tombs, Anubis, Cerberus, gate to the underworld. So, when you combine all of these symbols and motifs, it's really simple. It's really simple. Pillar 43 interpretation. Through skyfall cataclysms, the divine souls of men are protected into the next world. That's what all of this says right here. All these symbols say just that right there. So simple. Through skyfall cataclysms, the divine souls of men are protected into the next world. There is nothing about Scorpio in here. There is nothing about any type of ice age. There's nothing about any of that bullshit on this pillar at all. This pillar is easily interpreted just by looking at the individual symbols and what these symbols meant to all the other cultures of the world. When you put it together, it's absolutely easy to understand this message, because that's what it is. It is a message. It's a message of absolute hope. It's a message and an understanding that our world is cyclically destroyed, and that in those destructions, something divine happens and removes souls from the construct. And there's nothing to fear about that. That's Pillar 43. I'm done, guys. That's my presentation. I got to get me some food too. But that's it. Oh, I'm listen. I already know there's going to be all kinds of people. I can't be all that. It can't be that. I understand. I get it. I don't even care. At this point, I do not care. I'm living for the archaics community who has followed all this research and gone through all my material. And you see, I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's. I'm always going to have naysayers. Naysayers who are always going to defer to the experts who really don't know shit. Yeah. Or the growing masses of people who defer to the charlatans who keep posting all this bullshit that has nothing to do with anything in the ancient world. So that's my presentation, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Told you it's about 300. It's about 300 pictures, but the conclusion is very clear. I've been telling you for years, Gobekli Tepe has been misdated. I believe that the farce, the shit that's going on in archaeology, talking about shutting down Gobekli Tepe for tourism, not going to do more excavations. I don't know. I just don't know what's really going on over there. But I've been hearing stories, and I think it's all just comical to me. They're never going to change the dating because the entire system is poisoned. Everything about anthropology, everything about archaeology and history is now steeped in uniformitarianism. And as I've shown you in archaics, it's all bullshit. All the uniformitarian, relative, and absolute dating models are total bullshit. Every bit of it. He said it's so simple. And all you have to do, you don't have to have a bachelor's, you don't have to have a master's or a master's or a doctorate. All you have to do is use your common sense. Use your common sense, look at the facts, assess it for yourself. This is my interpretation of Gobekli Tepe, and I believe that I'm real close. That's it. Oh, it's raining outside. Anyway, that is a wrap. And I have no idea. Oh, there it is. So later on, Pam, Mr. C, I will catch up to you. Give me a day or two. But other than that, shout out to Funky Prepper. I just found out Funky Prepper's homeless, guys. I'm gonna post that on X. I might ask him what's going on, man. But I've something happened. But he's literally living in the woods. I saw him on a post with yeah, man. I don't know what happened, man. I just found out about this. I need some details. But I heard Funky Prepper is homeless, and that's sad. But if there's anybody in the world who could deal with that, it would be Funky Prepper. We need to find out what's going on with him. So that was on my mind too. But other than that, I'm going to check out. Love you guys. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation. It all started with seeing a symbol in Barry Fell's book that I know I'd seen multiple times before. It's crazy how this works. It's crazy. Love you guys.